Unexpected Christmas Bloody Day, a true horror story introduction. Christmas is a time for joy, laughter, and togetherness. For Alina, Colin, and Yash, the holiday season had always been filled with warmth and light. This year, however, would be different. What began as a plan to celebrate Christmas in an isolated cabin turned into a nightmare they could never forget. Sometimes the unexpected lurks in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And not all holidays are merry and bright. Main story: Alina, Colin, and Yash were childhood friends who had grown inseparable over the years. Despite their busy schedules, they made it a point to reunite every Christmas. This year, Alina had suggested spending Christmas in an old, remote cabin she had inherited from her late grandmother. Think about it. No city noise, just us, the snow, and the warmth of the fireplace. It'll be perfect, Alina had said enthusiastically. Colin, always up for an adventure, had agreed instantly. Yash, though a bit hesitant about the isolation, eventually gave in, swayed by the promise of quality time with his friends. On Christmas Eve, they arrived at the cabin, tucked deep within a snow-covered forest. It was picturesque, with its wooden structure, icicles hanging from the roof, and a soft glow from the vintage lanterns Alina had lit. But there was an eeriness to the place that none of them voiced. "Let's get the decorations up," Alina said, breaking the silence as they unpacked. They spent the evening decorating the cabin, hanging ornaments on a small pine tree, and singing Christmas carols. By the time night fell, the cabin looked like something out of a holiday postcard. After dinner, they gathered around the fireplace, sharing stories and sipping on hot cocoa. The warmth of the fire and the comfort of friendship masked the subtle unease that lingered in the air. Around midnight, Colin suggested they explore the woods nearby. "Are you serious?" Yash asked, raising an eyebrow. "It's freezing out there and it's pitch dark." "Come on, it'll be fun. Besides, we have flashlights," Colin insisted. Alina, always the mediator, sided with Colin. "It'll just be a quick walk. Let's do it." Reluctantly, Yash agreed, and the trio ventured into the woods. The snow crunched beneath their boots, and their breaths formed clouds in the frigid air. The trees, bare and skeletal, seemed to close in around them as they walked. Suddenly, Alina stopped. "Do you hear that?" The group fell silent. There was a faint sound, like someone humming a Christmas carol. "Who else would be out here?" Yash whispered, his voice trembling. They followed the sound, which grew louder as they walked deeper into the forest. It led them to an old, decrepit house that seemed abandoned. "This doesn't feel right," Alina said, her earlier excitement replaced with dread, but curiosity got the better of them. They approached the house, and Colin pushed the door open. It creaked loudly, revealing a dimly lit interior. The smell of decay hit them immediately. Inside, they found an old dining table set for Christmas dinner. Plates, glasses, and a roasted turkey sat untouched, as if waiting for guests. But the food was moldy and rotten, and the chairs were covered in cobwebs. "What the hell is this place?" Yash muttered. Suddenly, the humming stopped. The silence that followed was deafening. Then a blood-curdling scream echoed through the house. "Run!" Alina yelled, but the door slammed shut behind them. The lights flickered, and shadows danced on the walls. One by one, the candles on the table lit themselves, revealing a figure at the head of the table. It was a man, his face pale and twisted into a sinister grin. His eyes glowed red, and his hands dripped with blood. "Welcome to my Christmas feast," he said, his voice cold and menacing. Before they could react, the floor beneath them cracked, and they fell into darkness. They landed in a cold, damp basement filled with chains and tools that hinted at torture. The walls were covered in what looked like dried blood, and the air reeked of death. "Is this some kind of sick joke?" Colin whispered, his voice shaking. The man appeared again, this time holding a bloodied axe. "No joke. Just tradition," he said, laughing maniacally. What followed was a horrifying game of cat and mouse. The trio was forced to navigate the basement's labyrinthine corridors, avoiding traps and the maniacal figure who seemed to know every corner. One by one, they found clues that hinted at the house's dark history. It had once belonged to a family that had been murdered on Christmas Eve decades ago. The man was the father, who had gone mad and killed his family before taking his own life. His spirit, vengeful and twisted, now haunted the house, luring victims to repeat his macabre celebration. The friends tried to escape, but the house seemed alive, shifting its structure to keep them trapped. Colin was the first to fall. A trap door opened beneath him, and he was impaled on spikes below. His screams echoed through the halls, leaving Alina and Yash in shock. "We have to get out of here," Yash said, pulling Alina along, but the spirit was relentless. He cornered them in a small room, his axe gleaming in the dim light. In a desperate move, Alina grabbed a rusted pipe and fought back. She managed to wound the spirit, which caused the house to tremble violently. "This place is tied to him. We have to destroy it," Yash yelled. They set the basement on fire, using whatever they could find as fuel. As the flames consumed the house, the spirit screamed, its form disintegrating into ash. Alina and Yash managed to escape, collapsing in the snow outside as the house burned to the ground. The forest was silent once more, and the sun began to rise, casting a golden glow over the snow. Morale: some traditions are best left forgotten. The allure of the unknown can be dangerous, and sometimes curiosity leads to tragedy. Value the safety of those you love and trust your instincts when something feels wrong. Despite their survival, Alina and Yash would never forget the unexpected Christmas bloody day that changed their lives forever.